Hey everybody, Forever Retro 82 here. Hope you're staying safe and being well out there. So, as you all know, it's obviously no surprise, I'm an overly opinionated person. And in being that way, it's an overstatement of the century. But I've never said that my opinion was the be-all, end-all of all opinions. It's just there's games you guys probably love to death and I just can't stand, and there's probably games I love and enjoy that you can't stand. That's the beauty of life, is the beauty of choice. In opinions, it's nice to have them. Now, I was looking through my SNES collection because I realize I'm getting older, and there's some games I do want to beat before I pass away, right? So, in doing so, I found 5 games in my personal collection in my SNES games that I just was disgusted at looking at because they pissed me off in ways that is going to be hard to explain, but I'll do my best in doing so. Also, there's one game I know in my collection that is going to probably shock the shit out of all of you. Those who are Amiga fans, I'm not going to spoil it, because it's a game I did love as a kid, and I just can't stand it now, because it has all the makings of a great game, but it's just not fun. A couple games I have in this collection are Overly Ambitious, and then there's one in there that I'm just like, what the fuck were they thinking when they made this dog shit? Anyways, so we're going to experience that all together. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a beer, grab yourself some water, get a snack, just sit back and relax, and hopefully you'll enjoy my opinions, and maybe you won't. But these are 5 SNES games you should probably stay away from. And then remember, personal opinion, nothing more. So let's get started with number 5. You knew this was coming. You knew this had to be included on this list. Okay? I get it. It's my guilty pleasure. But this game is absolutely terrible. It had big ambitions, and they did not deliver, and there's a whole clusterfuck of a story out there that was told based on this game. A channel, What Happened, made a special on Rise of the Robots. Link is in the description. Now, let's talk about the good. Well, you have full motion video, which is kind of a rarity for the SNES because, after all, cartridge was not made to have full motion video. But, a lot of games like NBA Jams had that halftime little snippets of FMV, highly compressed, but hey, it was, for the time, it was fine. Now, imagine yourself if you were young in 1994. Oh my god, this looks bloody amazing. This looks fantastic. But then you get into the gameplay. First of all, this game has a great soundtrack. But this is what you got. You're like, okay, this looks neat, and then you actually start playing. Right off the bat, this game looks like absolute garbage. Alright? You have 2 special moves, that's one. And there's the other one. That's it. A shoulder barge and some kind of drop. I don't know. I don't remember the name. They both do good damage, but you have 3 punches, 3 kicks, but the AI will just ruin your ass to where your only method of attack should be the kick. Now, as you all know, this game is my guilty pleasure for some reason. I don't know why I like it. I don't know why I play it once in a while. I streamed it a couple times. For some reason, it's just a guilty pleasure for me. Now, just because I really like it, does that mean you need to go out and buy it? No. This game was going to be a big deal. It was going to be the next... Ooh, I lost. This was going to be one of the next big games coming out. There's a lot of hype behind it. There's many magazines that covered it. It was set out to be good. But this was the end product. What the fuck were they thinking with this shit? It's like you only have one character to play unless you play 2-player. And of course, the first player is always a cyborg. But you could literally beat most of the characters in this game just by kicking. You just gotta time it right. Now, why would you want to do that? Okay, well, Loader is definitely being a cheap ass right now. But yeah, it's just, you see, there's like nothing here that just screams great game at all. I mean, Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, all those, they did their homework, they did some amazing shit, and they sold millions of copies. I don't have the sales figures with me on this, but I can tell you right now, it didn't sell worth a damn. But yeah, see, I'm beating him just by kicking him. Just kick the shit out of him. That's all you gotta do. Most of the enemies, or most of the opponents, will die by kicking the shit out of them. I can see some of you out there not believing me. Well, I'll prove it. So with all that you just saw, I beat the 4 opponents with just kicking. So, you know, after all that is said, would you want to own this in your collection? Could you see yourself playing this and actually enjoying yourself, like my stupid ass apparently likes to from time to time? I mean, really? I mean, you can nearly beat the game with just by kicking. I mean, look! There's, like, no skill here at all. I mean, yeah, I just punched there, but, you know, I think I proved my point. You just gotta time it right, and you can beat the entire game just by kicking. It should be called Kickmaster. I mean, really, after all you just saw, could you see yourself buying this game and actually enjoying it and liking it in your collection? I sincerely hope the fuck not, because this is not a very well-made game at all. Now, I know, I give it praise sometimes because it is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's something I could just, you know, sit through and play and not even think about it, not even have to worry about having any kind of necessary skill. As you just saw, I nearly beat the shit out of all of my opponents by kicking. You've seen 4 opponents beaten by just straight out kicking. Yeah, I did slip in a punch on Crusher. I apologize for that. But, you know, I proved my point. I was just trying to prove a point that you can predominantly own everyone just by kicking. You can punch too if you can get one in there, but I wouldn't recommend it. So this is a terrible game. I would not recommend buying this in any means necessary because it is just a terrible game. You will not have fun. It is completely broken. There's a sequel that's a little bit better, but it is, I mean, I guess, you know, I haven't played much of Rise 2. I own it for the Saturn. I should play more of it. Did I buy that, did I buy that because I wanted it? No. I'll tell you a short story. There's a game on the Saturn that I really wanted because I played it once and my mind was blown away by just how beautiful it was. And it still is. It's still a great looking game. That game is called Istal. Some of you may have heard of it. Some of you may have not. Anyways, there was a seller in Grand Rapids, Michigan, because I lived in Michigan, so, you know, it only take like a day or two to get to me, that was selling Istal, Virtual Fighter 2, and Rise 2 Resurrection. So, the thing is I already owned, it was loose, so it was nice to have a box copy of Virtual Fighter 2, but I already had a loose copy of Virtual Fighter 2. So what did I do with that loose copy? I used it to listen to the music on a CD player, because you can. It has Redbook audio, so you can listen to it. But I got installed and I got Rise 2. I'm like, oh, cool. You know, I never played Rise 2. I remember popping it in, playing for about 10 minutes, and hating my life thereafter. Now, the thing about Rise, it's such an interesting story, though. And I'm going to link you guys a video in the description that I mentioned in the video when I was showcasing the game. Is there is a big story behind this. This was supposed to be an amazing, fantastic game. You were going to have lots of robots. They're going to have learning AI. And it was just going to be something mind-blowing. And everyone was excited for it. And then something along the lines got fucked up. And, well, that's the end result. And now the history's over. Now, there is a rumor going around that there is a Rise 3 in the works. Let it die. The first 2 did not do so well in the marketplace. Barely anyone bought it. No one liked it. Neither of them. I mean, like I said, Rise 2 has a lot more characters, but it and it has music from Brian May still. Now, the funny thing about it is, though, with Rise of the Robots, at least you notice in the copyright screen it says it's the dark, right? The only tune he made for the game was the title screen. The rest of it was made in-house by their sound designer. So, kind of a little bit of false advertisement there, Acclaim or Mirage or both, whoever is the guilty party. So, this is the last time I think I'm ever going to speak of Rise of the Robots on this channel. This was a $5 buy, and I hope the hell you don't go out and buy it because you will be disappointed and you'll wish you could buy that $5 on something else. You could buy yourself a rotisserie chicken from Walmart, for example, or a couple of cheapo beers. Don't spend it on Rise of the Robots. Anyways, Des, the last time we were going to mention Rise of the Robots. Take a shot every time I say that. You're probably drunk as fuck by now. You can make a game out of it. But anyways, with that being said, let's move on to something that is more of a lazy port and disappointing in rebranding. And we've played it on this channel before with an old friend of mine who I'm no longer friends with. But yeah, let's just let's refresh your memory on that. You'll know this as soon as I start playing it. So let's go on to number 4. Oh boy, where does one begin with this shit show, huh? Now, fun fact is, this game is actually a reskinned version of Future Basketball for the Atari ST. I don't think it was made on the Amiga. I would like to showcase you that so you can see the differences. Unfortunately, I can't. My ST emulator will not run. I'll have to work on that. Same with my Amiga. I don't know what the problem with it. Anyways, that's not important. So we're just gonna play just a quick one for you, just so you can get a recap. So yes, this is Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball, also known as Future Basketball. Everything is done by one button. You're shooting, you're passing, all done by one button. There's 6 buttons on the fucking SNES controller, and they couldn't fucking even think about remapping this shit to make it easier for players? And the AI is as dumb as fuck. I mean, just watch the gameplay. These guys are like blundering fucking idiots. They have no idea what they're doing. Like, they just passed it out of bounds. Now, shooting a basket in this game is not easy because it's all auto-controlled. But you can literally... Let me see if I can pull it off for the sake of this video. I mean, you can get buzzsaws and shit to... Oh, sorry about that. Buzzsaws and shit to attack the enemy with. And it sounds fun on paper, but it's terrible in practice. Now, those hockey pucks there, they're your currency. Because you can buy better players if you make a league. Whereas the whole meat and potatoes in it of the game. The game has an ending, believe it or not. Most sports games don't. See, look at this. I'm trying to shoot a basket. It's not even going in. Okay, fine. Now, let me see if I can pull it off. Damn it! Okay, well, maybe I can pull it off. No, give me the shit. You son of a bitch. Basically, what I'm trying to show you is as soon as you make a basket and they go to retrieve the ball, you can hit them again and keep making baskets over and over again. Just to show you how dumb the AI is. I mean, you can already tell, probably just by watching this, how retarded they are. See, I went to shoot the basket. It's completely auto-aimed, so you have no aim whatsoever that you can do with the basket. Or with the ball, excuse me. And the computer will gang up on you. This is just a terrible game. I mean, there's nothing good about it. The sound design is terrible. The music's catchy. That's the only thing it has going for it. The only thing. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm going to get it done. But like I said, auto. It's completely auto. I mean, what the fuck? How do they expect you to make a basket? Just by luck? I mean, this is an early SNES release. This was released during the launch window of the SNES, but it is absolutely fucking terrible. I mean, we would wait a little while to get some good basketball games on the SNES, and it would take a while, but when we did, they were much better than this shit. Fuck me. Even NBA All-Star Challenge is better than this crap. Get off me. Ugh. Yeah, he can abuse the opponent, which is kind of funny. Alright, there we go. Okay, we got a basket. Let me see if I can pull it off now. Alright, but you see where I was getting at. I mean, there are days that you can sit there and just go all day on the opponent. Let's grab the buzzsaw. See, it sounds fun. I mean, it sounds fun on paper, but it's really dull and boring. You gotta have 6-button control. If you don't have 6-button control, I mean, if you had it, it would make it so much... It would probably make it a little better, but everything is such shit. I can't see anybody other than maybe a chosen few out there that might actually have found this game enjoyable for the time frame, but... It's just... wasted potential. Let's just put it that way. I mean, this was fucking some kind of business deal they had with Bill Laimbeer, because he always liked to fist fight people. When he was in the Detroit Pistons, he would fuck people up and he wouldn't even think twice about it. Dude was an asshole. See, the basket didn't go in. Motherfucker, come on. You can't control the way you throw the trajectory of the ball. It just goes where the fuck it wants. It's just stupid, man. I mean, this was a rental for me. You know, but then, you know, my old friend bought me a copy because I want to beat it eventually. I'm not looking forward to the time I get to beating it. I do own 2 Laimbeer, though. Yes, you can buy Bill Laimbeer, and he has perfect stats. Once you have that, then you just have to win all the league tournaments and whatnot. And then you win. See? See if I can do it again. Nope, they'll do that once in a while. They'll throw it out of bounds. I don't need to play anymore to show you that this game is complete, utter garbage. I mean, if you like it, that's cool. But I'm sorry, this is really bad. I mean, we had games like NCAA and... All-Star Basketball, or yeah, All-Star Basketball, I believe it was called. What were they thinking with this shit? What? One button to do every fucking thing, bad sound design, just awful gameplay. The AI is dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, that's fine if you want to win. I mean, if you want... Here's the thing, though. When I was a kid, I couldn't make a basket to save my fucking life. But later I found out that the game is completely... majority of it's automatic. To the point where you really have no control except for getting the ball and throwing the ball and passing it. But then again, when you pass it, you can't really, like, aim it at anybody. Let's take Blades of Steel. When you pass the puck, it would go to your nearest player. Awesome. That's the way it should be. It should be like that with most sports games. This, no, you just have to throw it and hope that one of your dudes will get over there and get it before the computer does. I'm telling you, the basketball to the computer in this game is literally like crack. They just go for it. So, absolutely appalling of a game. I mean, like I said, the launch window of the SNES was, you know, a ho-hum at best. I mean, there wasn't some great games out there. There really wasn't. I mean, there was Ultraman, another guilty pleasure of mine, but I still think that game is worth buying and playing because, come on, it's kaiju, it's Ultraman, it's classic. I just don't feel the need to hate it. You may hate it, and that's perfectly fine. But play the Japanese version if you really want to challenge, because, oh my god, I can't get anywhere. And I can get to, like, the third opponent, the third monster, and just get my ass handed to me like nobody's business. The American version was actually much easier. But yeah, don't buy Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball. It is not fun. It is very much annoying. In fact, I'm going to link a video of a guy who actually sat there and played it, and, you know, thankfully, he edited out a bunch of parts. And, so if you want to see that game being beaten by him, I'll link that video in the description as well. One day I plan on beating the game, but I'm not looking forward to it at all because it's just terrible. It's just one of those games that just leave me in a state of like, what the fuck am I playing? What is this? Why did they create this? I mean, obviously it was a deal with Bill Laimbeer, and they probably thought they would sell a lot due to the violent nature of it, because you have mines and buzzsaws, and they thought that would be cool. And on paper, it's cool. In practice, however, the way they encoded it is dog shit. I mean, honestly, it's a reskin of Future Basketball that was on the Atari ST, and I don't know what they're thinking with that shit. It's an awful game. Just stay away from it. Anyways, we're going to look at a game that's slightly better. And it has ambition. You can just tell by playing it, it has some ambition. But it falls flat, and I'll explain why in the best of my ability. So sit tight and relax. Here we go with number 3. So, I'm looking at it. You know, I got really far in this game, too. And it's like, I wanted to fall asleep by the time I got to level 3. Anyways, let's do it. This is D-Force, also known as Dimension Force. Now you have the game start, which is the arcade mode, and you have shooting mode and exploration mode. I'm going to try to play a little of each. Now, this game had big ambitions. It really loved the zooming and Mode 7 effects of the SNES to the point where they incorporated it into this game. Now, all that doesn't mean fuck all unless the game is good. It's going into demo mode. Now, you're like, yeah, it's a shooter. It's a shoot 'em up. And you guys know how much I love shoot 'em ups. Fuck me. And I own a couple in my collection in the SNES. Now, a lot of people may agree or disagree that the SNES has a good shooter library. Yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to the Genesis. I'll agree with that, but it still had its fair share of shooters that were really good. This was not one of them. So this is D-Force. You shoot with B, and that's pretty much it. This is as plain as it gets. This game is so fucking plain. The only thing it has going for it is the nice little Mode 7 water effects going on right now. Like I said, Asmic, for some reason, wanted to show off the Mode 7 effects of the SNES in this game. The levels in this game are so very, very, very long and boring and dull, and it will put you to sleep. Now, it doesn't play bad. It controls beautifully, and you could sit here and play this game and... You know, and if you don't mind being bored to death, you'd be perfectly fine. Just keep keeping the power-ups and just keep... Fuck me. And keep... God damn it. And steer clear of the enemy, of course. That's pretty much every shooter out there. But you'll notice, like, all the patterns of the enemies and the enemies themselves. They show no creativity whatsoever. And that's kind of a shame, really, because I see this game having some good potential to it. I'm getting my ass handed to me because I'm not very good at it. But, and this is what you get when you have a game over. They want to show off that smooth Mode 7. Now, you can continue in this game, but why bother? Because it's boring as hell. Yeah, you press the B button, and it sounds like you press the start button, or like it's a credit sound. Now, you can choose to continue, but we're going to fast forward that. And we'll check out the other modes. And see if there's anything here worth salvaging. So, the shooting mode. I never played these modes, so, you know, maybe I'll give it another chance. Perhaps. Okay, it looks the same as we just experienced. And listen to that wonderful music. It's so reverbery that it makes my head spin. I don't like reverb too much. Even though a lot of SNES games do have it. Some games do it okay. Illusion of Gaia is reverbery as all hell. And I can handle that. Some of the tracks in that game are really good. But let's be honest. Soul Blazer and Terranigma beat the ever-living shit in sound design of Illusion of Gaia. Not a bad game. Now, I'm not noticing any difference between this mode and what we just were playing. I may have to do more research on that, on these modes. Because what I'm seeing is just, well, shooting mode. Okay, we're shooting. I mean, that's what you pretty much do out throughout the whole game anyway. Jesus. Like, you're not... Like, there's a couple stages that I really want to show you, and I'm going to, where they really try to push the whole scaling and Mode 7-ness to this game. I mean, you're really not missing much. This game is not very good. Now, notice the slowdown. Now, that's why the SNES... let's just fast forward this shit. Let's see if Exploration Mode will showcase what I wanted to in the first place. Really, you're not missing much. This game is very boring. Okay, this should give us what we want. Now, if you press L and R, so you can either zoom in towards the ground or zoom away from it. Or you can keep doing this and get motion sickness. And yeah, we're basically in a prehistoric world. And yeah, you have to zoom in and out in order to kill enemies that are near ground. I mean, like I said, the idea is fantastic. I don't diss that idea at all. I think that's a really neat aspect they put in this game. But if the game just wasn't so fucking boring and shitty enemy placements and crap sound design, it would be good. I would say go out and buy it. But don't. It's not good. And, you know, look, I'm not alone, too, because I noticed that many a YouTuber also claim that, shit, I'm just getting my ass handed to me like nobody's business. I mean, I'm weak as shit for starters. But yeah, a lot of YouTubers I've seen who've played this game also said the same thing. They're like, there's nothing good about it, it's plain, it's very dull, and it is. Asmik was not that great of a company to begin with. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to try to get past the first stage. Just so you can see how long it is. So sit back. It's just going to take a while. I'm going to do my absolute best. Let's get through this shit. We don't need it. I mean, honestly, I could just cut it off here, but, you know, that would make me lazy as hell. And I don't want to be that kind of content creator. We're going to try to get past the first stage. I'm going to play my absolute best here. You can move your levels, or excuse me, your lives up to 9. So that's good if you really want to see the end of the game. Like I said, I got to like the third or fourth stage. I couldn't take it anymore. I was so bored, like to the point I just wanted to cry. You ever been that bored before, where you just want to scream because you're just so fucking bored and you want to do something else? Yeah, I was at that point. But one day, I do intend to actually power through this, and I really don't want to. I'll be honest. It's like I might have to take like a tea break or something. Like I said, I'm gonna try to play the first stage at the very least. Now, if you had bombs and shit, that would make stuff a little bit more, god damn it, more interesting. But you don't. This is the only thing you get is this little pea shooter. And as you can see, these red jets give you the power-ups. Or power-ups! God damn it. I'm sorry if my buttons are really loud. Oh yeah, you do get missiles, so it's kind of like a ride. Now, you're going to notice some change in scenery. Whoa. Forest. Wow. Look at this lovely slowdown. You know, like I played Gradius 3 on stream just a couple weeks ago, and it's like, you know, that was fun. Because that game is just well made. It's got great music. It's got fun control. A good ending. And you fight different enemies and bosses, and it's tight. This is just boring. I spent a whopping $4 on this game. Because when I was a kid, my friend Donald, he was very interested in it, because in the back of the box, you do fight this like sand-like creature, and it looked cool in the back of the box, but when you actually see it in the game, you're like, dude, this is lazy. If I want to play a game like that, you know, with like a cool sand monster and whatnot, I'll play Axlay. That game is much better anyway. I could, you know, and what really makes me mad from that time frame, I could not find a video store around me that had Axlay to rent. Not even Blockbuster. I didn't have a membership there. Oh, Jesus. That's the mid-boss. I don't think I need to do any more in this game to let you guys know it's not very fun to play. You can tell by the gameplay, it's just awful. But yeah, I could never find an Axlay to rent and play. And that's bullshit, because that game was really awesome. And there's no point in high scores because, well, they don't save it. So, let's go ahead and give my final thoughts on D-Force. So here's D-Force. Disappointing as hell. I mean, it was highly ambitious, though, with the whole Mode 7 thing, and it's a really cool effect. But that doesn't matter if the game's not very fun to play. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It is fucking boring. The level, the enemy patterns, the choice of weapons. I mean, yeah, you get missiles and some shooties, but nothing that just screams awesome. This is great for my artillery, my attacking power. No, it's garbage. Yeah, it was made by Asmik in 1991, and I don't think it was released until 92 though, because I didn't see it in 91 because I know all those video stores that I been to or was going to or have been to during that time frame didn't have it. And it wasn't until, you know, Kroger, I don't know if you're familiar with Kroger. Kroger is a grocery store. They used to they used to have a thing where you used to be able to rent games. Now Kroger is more than likely up north and to the west and whatnot. We don't have any Krogers down here where I reside in, unfortunately. But yeah, we used to be able to rent videos and video games from there. And there was a time I was staying the weekend at my friend Donald's house for the weekend, and he wanted to rent it, and I didn't. So he ended up renting MechWarrior, and I still think the SNES game of that is very impressive. It's a very tough game, and the Mode 7 is very slow, but that's a story for another time entirely. So D-Force. Now, the only reason I would see you wanting to buy D-Force is if you want to make a complete shooter collection or a complete collection of your SNES library. But there's nothing there. There's nothing there that you're going to remember. You're going to play the game for a few minutes and then you're going to put it away and then forget about it. It is that forgettable. And it's kind of a shame too, because it had some great ideas, but not enough to draw the player in and allow them to want to go through the entirety of the game. So yeah, D-Force. More like shit force. Anyways, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 of the games you should not buy. Now, this is a movie license game. Now, there was one on the NES, and then there was one on the SNES. This game that I'm about to play is really, really bad. You may have seen videos by other YouTubers of it, namely the AVGN. I won't be able to do it justice in that way, but let's just go ahead and show you. You're not going to like it, though. It's terrible. It is absolute shit of a game. Here goes. Oh boy, now we're diving into some absolute shit. Now, I'm going to have to pause it because I want to do a little bit of explaining. Okay, first of all, this game was a rental as a kid, and I liked the movie. Even though I never really watched much of it. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I never actually sat down and watched the whole thing. But it was a decent movie, and people liked it, and people were talking about it. Now, there's an NES adaptation, which I suggest you try out if you're interested in this property. And screenshots made this game look like it was absolutely amazing. I'm like, wow, digitized graphics, and it's going to look real, and all that shit. So I was suckered in by the screenshots. But then you actually play the game. First of all, though, I must say, the title screen music. It's the you fail music. I kid you not. Anytime you die in this game, this is the music you hear. That should already give you a complete description of how this game feels about itself. It's a fucking failure. And it's no fun, especially when you take into account the first thing they have you do in a game that's based off the Rocketeer. It is completely fucking stupid. Now, I don't remember the races in Rocketeer. There probably could have been. That's probably part of the movie I did not see. So please tell me in the comments if this follows the movie. I'm going to go with no. But let's continue. This is the You Fail music in the game. It's all sad and depressing. It's self-aware. It hates itself because it's a shit game. Right. So we're going to go ahead and start. And here's something else I thought that's interesting. You hear the music? Now you don't. You know why? You can pause the cutscenes in this game. Now, the cutscenes suck as they are to begin with. Why the fuck would you want to pause them? It's just a personal opinion. You may think that's a cool feature. I will admit some games I would like the pause of cutscenes, especially some of the newer games that I've actually discovered that I like. But for a game of this caliber, fuck to the no. Anyways, you can skip this bullshit by pressing a button. Now I'm going to show you a cheap way of winning this, because if you don't do it this way, it's almost impossible. You want to press the acceleration button and go into the background as much as you can. And in every single turn, you want to press the L button. Otherwise, the other planes will bypass your ass. Now, as you can see, I'm basically winning. Does this feel like Rocketeer to you? Or a game that Rocketeer should be? I fucked up. Try not to do that too much. I mean, when you play a game of Rocketeer, you want a dude flying around and shooting shit and beating the fuck out of people. Oh, right, that's right. That's the NES version. Not this version. Yeah, you have to basically race. And it's like hard as fuck unless you know what you're doing. Because if you don't, you'll lose. And not only that, you have a stupid amount of laps. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, this is probably the worst game you could play in a rental. Because I could not figure this shit out. It wasn't just almost by queer coincidence that I found this little trick that if you just go into the background and press L on the turns, you'll bypass everybody. And then you get a stupid cutscene, which we can bypass. Guess what comes next? Action? Excitement? No. More racing. 15 laps of this shit. I messed up on my turn there. I went ahead and bypassed that because I didn't want you guys watching me do 15 laps of that nonsense, because it's not worth the time and it's boring as shit. Now, you're done with race number 2, right? And you think you're done with racing. Well, you are partially right. Because the next scene, you're inside a fucking garage shooting up people in the most clunkiest, choppiest frame rate in shooting that I think I've ever seen in a video game up until this point. And what's even worse is you have this enemy gauge, right? So you gotta basically kill a small army while they're shooting you from every angle in order to pass this part. So, if you get past this part, you know, just by chance, or you really want to see what's more of the game, guess what's next? Just guess. More racing. But this time you get to race as a Rocketeer like that's some fucking amazing feat. But you'll realize that the Rocketeer is actually faster than the planes. And you get to do some lovely 10 laps. Isn't that amazing? Just do the whole L trick thing I showed you, and you should bypass this very easily. I mean, I'll go ahead and play this part just so you can see what comes up after this. What the hell just happened? I never died there before. Let's try that again. I guess I hold down the L too long. Try not to crash. But as you can see, you pretty much overlap the other planes. Not that you would ever want to play this game, but I know there's some of you completionists out there that want to beat every game that you touch. I'm giving you some pointers and some tips. And I don't know why you would want to play and beat this game when there's so much better games on the SNES. It is a film licensed title, so that's not to be surprised in why it's such a pile of dookie. because there's hardly any, if any. Well, I mean, there's True Lies. That's a good game. It does get repetitious and a little boring later on in the game, but I mean, if you gotta play a movie-based game, play that. Or even play Judge Dredd. That game wasn't too bad. I like them soundtrack in it. And I win. Big fucking deal. And your guy stops and is just like, yeah, I'm badass. So, guess what comes next? More shooting. Can't you see a pattern here? And, ooh, you can fly. Like, who cares? Why you want to fly during a gunfight? And these guys actually throw grenades. So this part is actually much harder. But that's not all. There's a surprise I like to throw at you at the very end of that. Or at the end of this, should I say. Yeah, a boss fight. And this boss fight is absolutely stupid. All you gotta do is take out the engines and then take the middle part. Just use your turbo thumb. Then the dude's gonna come out and you just shoot him. And it's over. I mean, there's like absolutely nothing climactic or anything. There's nothing to drag you in. And then after that, you have what I feel is to be the absolute most broken shooter of any game of all time. Now, this isn't like a shoot 'em up, but this part is. And it has the most loose, long-winded gameplay I think I've ever experienced in a shoot 'em up. Because there's 2 stages of this, and then the game is over. That's right. You have 3 racing stages, 2 shooting stages in the garage, and then 2 shoot 'em up stages. Now, the shoot 'em up stages are complete dog shit because they are literally like 20 minutes. And I'm not going to subject myself to any more of this crap because this game sucks. Flat out, everything about it is bad. Everything. To the control, to the gameplay, it's short. And the fact that some people actually spent money on this baffles me. And unfortunately, I'm one of those idiots. I own my copy right here. Yeah, this cost me $2.99 at Funkoland, so I got it for a measly $3 and some, and of course income tax. But this is a very horrible fucking game. I mean, I rented the NES one at some point, and I always wanted to own a cartridge, but they always wanted like $12 or $10, and I just never had the money on me. I mean, it's not a legendary or great game. It has a tremendous amount of flaws, but if I want to play a game based on the Rocketeer, I'm going to go with the NES version, for sure. This version is a broken, piss-poor example of how not to make a game based on a movie. Okay, because first of all, you have the races, then you have the gunfights in the garage, and then you have 2 levels of broken shoot-'em-up gameplay. I mean, seriously, I ain't going to subject myself to that. If you want to, do that on your own time. I like my time well too much to even do that, because seriously, 20 fucking minutes. And you have guys on parachutes with guns, not just the planes and the little missiles you saw. No, it gets far more frustrating. You have these one guys with Uzis, right? And unless you have missiles, because you do get these little icons if you destroy some of the enemies, that's completely random, because of course this was the age of randomization taken over. If you don't have enough of them, you will die. And when you die, when you lose 1 life, you go all the way back to the beginning. So say if you're 15 minutes in, you got basically 5 minutes to go. There's an indicator in the lower right-hand corner. Say your guy's nearly there, and you die. Fuck off, go back to the beginning. Yeah, Rocketeer is a piece of shit. The movie was good. I mean, for the I need to really sit down and watch the whole thing so I can actually see it, if it resembles it to some degree. I mean, like I said, it's in bits and pieces. I never, regrettably, I never sat down and actually watched the whole thing. It looked cool. It's just my family wasn't interested, and back in the day when I was with my family, during when movies were interesting to us, they would rent them and we would watch them together, of course. Family movie night. That was a thing when you're a kid, But now that I'm an adult, I can actually watch all those movies and all those shows that my parents did not like because it's say Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Thankfully, they liked it, but okay, that's a bad example. Roseanne, the sitcom Roseanne and Home Improvement. My mom hated both of those. I had to go watch them on my black and white TV in my bedroom. Yes, I had a black and white TV until I was 13 years of age. Because my parents were cheap asses, or they just didn't feel that I was worth enough to get a color TV for. But I finally got one on my 13th birthday, and that was awesome. And my SNES games looked absolutely fantastic. And because when they would go away, we would take my Super Nintendo and hook it up on the big TV the color TV down in there. We would hook up our game systems when they would go away while we were left home alone. So, anyways, I totally went off kilter there. That's not what this video is about. That's a story for another time. If you care to hear it, let me know. But yeah, stay away from Rocketeer. Now, this last game I'm going to show is going to it's going to cause some polarized opinions because the Euro gamers love it. It's a very infamous game over there. They recently released a remake for it on Steam. Now, I'm just going to say before I show it off, the game has all the makings to have a great game, to be a wonderful, memorable title. It has great music and all that, but it lacks fun, and it has a difficulty curve that is just so unfair to the point where it's not even fun to play. That's all I'm going to say, because I like to surprise you. So let's go ahead and show off the final game in this video, and we'll call it a video. So sit tight, and here we go. Yep, so if any of you've played Amiga or you've played this game before, you know this intro, and if you don't know what it is, you're about to see the title screen. It's Gods by the Bitmap Brothers. It was released in 1991, and it was put on. It was published. It was made for the home systems by Renegade, and it was published by Mindscape. And it was ported to the Super Nintendo and the Genesis in 1992. And this is a very beloved game by many Amiga player, or I think Atari ST as well. Problem is, I would love to show you more of this game. I'm going to show you as much as I can because I am fucking terrible at it. It has that Euro stank to it, though. You got to collect stuff, and there's little cryptic puzzles with levers here and there, and you attack enemies, and you just go through labyrinths. You know, it has the makings of a great game. But the problem is the difficulty. It is, in my opinion, way too fucking hard to enjoy. I mean, like I said, I'm not really... I wouldn't consider myself a casual player. I wouldn't even consider myself a novice. I would consider myself intermediate for the most part because I've beaten some games that a lot of people still can't beat to this day. But this game just throws everything at you. All the enemies, everybody. They just find every way they can to fucking deal attack to you. And you can only take about a couple hits of damage before you die. That little vial you see in the lower left-hand corner is your health bar. Yeah. And this is all one of those fucking games that if you stand in spikes, they'll take damage until it kills you. Or that happens. Yeah. So it's one of those. See, this game gives me kind of a Risky Woods vibe to it, but the thing about Risky Woods is it was actually kind of fun. It had a really fun... See, like, I already lost all my fucking energy just to grab a key I need for the treasure room. And I'm dead. So, yeah, it has the makings of a great game. This game could have been great, but it's just so random, and the enemies take so much damage from you, it's over before it even begins. I mean, could you imagine spending $60 on this game and being happy with it? I mean, fuck me, I spent, I think I want to say $3 or $4 on this. I don't exactly remember the price. I bought it on a whim because I liked it when I was a kid. I very much loved it. Matter of fact, I loved it as a kid. I got to the boss and died there. I can't even get to him these days. So my skill has definitely took a hit for the worst. Lack of thereof, anyways. I can get past at least the first level, the first world, and there's 4 levels in the game. Or 4 worlds in the game. There's the city, the underground, and I can't remember the other 2, but yeah, it's pretty long. And it's got puzzles and labyrinths and enemies that are in your way because you take damage from them when you touch them. It's bullshit. I mean, I really want to like this. I sincerely do. And the more I play it, I don't get anywhere. Now, I don't even know how the fuck I even triggered that. That's another thing. You basically... Random shit just happens and there's no rhyme or reason. And if there is, I sure as fuck don't know what it's... I'm confused on why it happens. But yeah, you attack enemies and collect jewels and stuff, and that gives you, points and whatnot. I mean, if this was a high score game, they pretty much nailed it, but fuck me, as an actual adventure game, it fails. Or a side-scroll platformer. They remade this on Steam, too, and as a person who have bought it just out of curiosity's sake, and I got the key for $5 off a site I won't mention, it's not that good. It's pre-rendered like Actraiser Renaissance, but it's not as fun. Or that game's really not all that fun either with the stupid fucking tower defense. So, yeah, you have 3 lives, no continues, and you just basically got to make do with what you got. Press B to attack, A to jump. Now, I will give it that. At least you don't have to press up to jump like you have to do in the fucking other versions because of the amount of buttons you have on those said systems. Yeah, these are switches too. You can press them. But yeah, enemies are coming from me from left and right. I mean, I kind of wish this game had an auto fire button because all you would have to do is just hold that down while you move because enemies are around in every corner. Now, I will tell you that there are people out there that really love this game and they're fucking kings at it. And to those guys, I salute you. I don't have the patience in my life to want to try to best a game that is just way too difficult to begin with. I don't even think you can get that without getting killed. Oh. Yeah, and you also get cryptic hints. And yeah, my game's already over. Gods, why do you gotta be so tough? It's just, in my opinion, it's just not good because it's just too difficult. There's no fun to be had. And that saddens me, because there is a great game here. There really is. But I can't find it because I can't get anywhere into it. I remember sitting here playing it on my SNES for an hour, just seeing if I can get anywhere. And I did get past the second state, or the second world of the first stage, and I couldn't get any further than that. And that was after an hour of fucking gameplay. And I'm sorry, I'm a pick up and play kind of guy. You know, I just want to pick up and play and have fun, you know? Like a game that's... I don't want a game that's easy or too easy. Don't get me wrong. I just like games with balanced difficulty, and Gods doesn't have it. Turrican doesn't either. The original? No, that's why I prefer the Super Turrican games on the SNES, is because of that reason. They have balance, and they're made specifically for that system. If you play Turrican on, let's say, the PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16, you play it on the Genesis, and you play it on the Game Boy, or you play it on the original systems, like the the Amiga, I believe, or the Commodore 64, all those 16-bit computers. They're bullshit hard for all the wrong reasons. I like how the game just says demo. It's fantastic. Alright, so, yeah, you do have passwords, and there are shops in the game that you can find that will help you benefit using the jewels that you find. Now, those are nice, but where are they? I have not encountered one during my short gameplays. Okay, well, they show you this. Now, look how powerful the demo guy is. I mean, he's wrecking worlds and then some. But as soon as those enemies touch you, you pretty much are near dead. You gotta, like, basically not get hit or touch enemies in any way. Because when you touch not just enemies, but objects in the stage, your energy goes just like Turrican, like that. And I hate it. It pisses me off. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video, and I'll give my conclusion and thoughts on all these games and how I feel. So, let's go ahead and do that. So yeah, it disappoints me that this has to be such bullshit in terms of difficulty, because it does have the makings of a great game. The controller is a little slippery, but you get used to it over time, and and the whole labyrinth aspect is neat. You know, it doesn't break any ground or nothing, but back then it was actually considered a all-around good title. It's just the difficulty is very much bullshit, and it kind of kills the fun factor to me. I mean, if a game is just too hard to where you don't want to play it again, it loses all merit. You won't ever pop it in your game system and play it again. Unless you're one of those people who are masochists and you like to take a beat down, and there's plenty of them out there. Or you got those people who like to play games that are just too hard for the sake of being hard. And I don't like those type of games. And Gods, I guess, fits in that category. Because I can't get anywhere in it anymore. When I was a kid, I was able to get to the first boss, which was a dragon, and he owned me every time. The game was a rental, and I liked it enough to where I knew sometime in the future when I got better at games, you know, that's questionable, obviously, that I was going to purchase it. And I did. It was, I believe it was $4. I bought this at Game Crazy, actually. And I saw it, and it was $4, and the condition was pretty good. I mean, there's some scuff on the label and all that, but I can clean that off easily. That's not a problem. But yeah, these are some of the most disappointing fucking games I think I've ever had the audacity of playing on my Super Nintendo. I mean, I know some people are saying, what about this game? What about that game? Like Ultraman. Ultraman has a charm to it. I can't explain it necessarily, because even though the game sucks, like in terms of how people want to enjoy video games, like in terms of gameplay mechanics, the game is pretty loyal to the source material. There's not much they could do with it. They could have made it a one-on-one beat 'em up with more stuff into it, but this is prior to Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 laid the groundwork of how, 2D fighters should be, and then it just got better from there with games like Guilty Gear and King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, the SNK stuff, as well as the Capcom stuff, and the wannabe Street Fighter 2s, like Fighter's History and Power Instinct. I can go on that forever. But anyways, these 5 games suck, but they're in my collection, and I bought them, except for Bill Laimbeer. A friend bought that for me, because he's like, you want a copy? It's cheap. I was like, you know what? I want to beat it. Fuck it. If you want to spend your money on me, feel free. And he did. And the game is terrible. But I'm going to beat it one day. You watch. But the rest of these games are terrible. The only ones I have beaten in this stack of games, I have beaten Rocketeer. That took longer than it should, about 4 hours. Rise of the Robots, beaten in 25 minutes or so. And of course, that's about it. I still need to beat Gods. I doubt that'll ever happen in my lifetime. D-Force and Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball, which I'm halfway done with. So, there you go. Anyways, so these were disappointing purchases. Well, 4 of them are, and the one that was given to me as a gift. I mean, I'm grateful that I was given the gift, but at the same time, the game sucks. So, anyways, are there games that you've bought or you have in your collection that you were just disappointed with, wish you would have spent the money on something else? Or have you ever had a game that you were just so looking forward to, and the coverage on it was amazing, and you just wanted to get your hands on it, and then you found out, or then you finally did get your hands on it, and you turned out it was just a steaming pile of cow shit? If you have any stories like that, I'd love to hear those. Let me know in the comments below. But until then, I'm Forever Retro 82. I'm signing off. I hope you enjoyed this video for what it's worth. Keep gaming, keep loving, and keep it retro, and we will see you soon. And until then, take good care of yourselves. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked what you saw and would like to support my channel, please consider being a patron. I'll put your name up with these fine folks who have donated to this channel, and that would be awesome to have you on board. If not, that's entirely up to you. I hope you have a good day and take care.